Today I am checking out Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the 1994 version. Arrow Video has released it on 4K UHD. I have not read the book, Frankenstein. It's crazy because I got like a giant library back there, all over there, books, and I own it. Just never got around to reading it. So I can't say definitively how close the movie matches the book. There is a special feature on it that does tell you some of the differences. So I'll get into that later. But the main story of Frankenstein, of course, is about Dr. Victor Frankenstein, played by Kenneth Branagh, who directs the film as well. His mother dies during childbirth. He vows to never let anyone die again, so he gets into the whole medical education with trying to reanimate the dead. Obviously, he does. He brings back the creature, the monster, played by Robert De Niro as the monster. Does a fantastic job. The monster's very intelligent. He learns to read. He becomes like smart. And then he becomes like vengeful because he's like he's always, everyone's afraid of him because of the way he looks with the scars and everything. So obviously he sees Victor Frankenstein as his father, his creator, and also as the person he wants to go after because he put him in this situation. There's a romance story. A little weird because she's okay. So the romance is Elizabeth, played by Helen Bonham Carter. She is adopted into the Frankenstein family when she's young. Same time Victor's young, and they're brother and sister. Obviously, they're not related. There's no blood relation, but they grew up together, little, like that tall, as brother and sister, and they love each other, and they're gonna get married. And okay, sure, they're not blood related, but in the movie, they keep calling each other brother and sister. And at one point in the movie, after they get married, he's like, "We're no longer brother and no more brother and sister. Now wife and husband," or something like that. Blech! That's weird. That's weird, right? I don't know if in the book it's the same. Anyway, so what's the horror aspects of the movie? Well, the horror aspects, like I said, is the monster going after Victor Frankenstein because of everything that he's gone through. Because he befriends like a family, a shepherd's family. He's like kind of in the shadows helping them. They don't know. They think it's like a forest fairy or something. But then when they find out who it is, they get scared and run away. So that's like another catalyst that drives him over the edge. So he goes after Victor Frankenstein. And then it like accumulates into like a kind of confrontation. The movie kind of jumps into Bride of Frankenstein a little bit at the end. I guess there's a line in the book that mentions like making a bride for Frankenstein, so they kind of like expanded on that. I'm not going to spoil anything, but really cool. Some really cool, amazing special effects. Like a fire stunt. Whew, man, crazy how they did it. Yeah, so that's it. So that's Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I don't want to spend too much time. Everyone knows the story. Of course, not everyone has read the story. So how's the movie? How is it? It's good. It's good. It's a long movie. It's like 123 minutes, I believe. Yeah, 123 minutes. So it's like 2 hours. It is fairly long, but it goes by quick. There's a lot that happens in the movie. It's like, it doesn't feel slow. There's like a beginning story with a guy on an expedition to the North Pole, and that's where he meets Victor Frankenstein, he's like chasing after the monster, and then he comes back in at the end. It's a little cheesy at times. It's very, everyone's so goddamn happy in this movie back then. Like when they meet each other, they're like, oh, Victor, oh, and they hug each other and they swing and twirl and everyone is just so happy. And the scenes where Dr. Victor Frankenstein is reanimating the creature, the monster, it almost looks like a music video. He's dancing with no shirt on. He's so super sweaty and he's got this mullet and he's like, wah, bah, bah, bah. And it's just hilarious. It almost seems like Kenneth Branagh was just throwing that in the movie so he could run around shirtless, sweaty, and all muscular. Oh, and when they finally reanimate the creature and he's trying to get him to stand up, they're in this goo on the floor, and it literally must have been 2 minutes of them just flipping and flopping and falling in this goo. And it's not played for laughs, from what I can tell, but my God, does it look hilarious when it happens. So yeah, so that's weird way to end the movie review. Okay, so the 4K UHD, what does it look like? Well, it looks amazing. I don't have any complaints about it. I thought it looked great. Nighttime scenes look good. A lot of the snow scenes, there's like everything kind of looks, and it's good. It looks good. It's bright. There's no like compression that I can tell. I am terrible at noticing a lot of stuff like that people complain about online. Compression, encoding issues, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Pop it in my 4K player. I hit play. I look at it. I watch it. I think it looks good. I will let you know if there's anything apparently wrong with it, but I didn't notice anything. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pause this right now just to make sure that there is no recall on this. Just 1 second.
Is there a recall on Frankenstein? Because Arrow Video seems to make a lot of releases that require recalls. Na, 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 na. I don't see anything, so thank God I'm not wrong. Close all these windows because they're bright.
Yes, so there are no recalls for this 4K UHD. Woo! So when I say it looks good, it looks good. Does it sound good? It sounds good. It defaults to 5.1 DTS HD. That's what I watched it in. I didn't hear a lot of rear surround sound use, but it also includes uncompressed stereo audio. I feel like I probably should have watched it in uncompressed stereo audio, especially if the surround sounds aren't going to be used a lot. There might have been a little bit here and there, especially with the music. The music's very bombastic. It's very orchestral. Not very horror. It's more like, I don't know. Well, it's like I said, it's like Kenneth Branagh running around dancing. That's that kind of music. Well, it's not Footloose or anything, but it did seem like it was from Footloose. So, looks good. Sounds good. What's the special features like? It's a good amount of special features. A really cool feature that talks about just Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and all the different incantations of Frankenstein. Incantations? I think iterations. Maybe iterations. Anyway, so it talks about all the different versions of Frankenstein leading up to Kenneth Branagh's in 1994. There is a really cool feature on here. It is Frankenstein, a liberal adaptation from Mrs. Shelley's famous story for Edison production, 1910. It has a restored video of the 1910 Frankenstein. How cool is that? It's really cool. I sat and watched it. Thought it was awesome. There is, okay, so what else? There's audio commentary by film historians Michael Brook and Johnny Maines. There's a new interview with composer Patrick Doyle. A new interview with costume designer James Archson. Brand new interview with makeup designer Daniel Parker. They all average around 12, 13 minutes, 14 minutes each. There is The Mary Shelley and the Creation of a Monster, a brand new documentary featurette on the origins and evolution of the Frankenstein story. That one is around the 20-minute mark. It features Gothic specialist David Prairie, Jonathan Rigby, and Stephen Volk. And then we have Dissecting Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, a brand new featurette with David Prairie, Jonathan Rigby, and Stephen Volk on the differences between the novel and Kenneth Branagh's screen adaptation. So that's the one I mentioned earlier, where it discusses the kind of the differences between the story and the movie. A lot of it is maybe like one little line in the book mentions something, so they expand on it in the movie. They expand on that line. Like I said, The Bride of Frankenstein. Or there's also stuff in the book that they mentioned couldn't have been translated to the film, but Kenneth Branagh tries, and he succeeds fairly close to what Mary Shelley in what she was visioning, I guess, when she wrote the story. When she was like, what was it, like 18 when she wrote it? Crazy. And then we had the Edison, and then we have like original trailers, and then we have, of course, the so this is the so we have the disc. We have, I believe, let me open it up just to make sure. We have a card here that just Wild Things stuff. We have the booklet. This is all scanned at Cultsploitation, so we have all the scans of everything, screenshots, galleries. We're good there. But the transfer talks about being restored by Sony 4K. The booklet has cast and crew, Hideous Prodigy, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. P.S. I Am Not Mad, playing God in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and then about the transfer and production credits. So that's the booklet, and there is a reverse sleeve with this artwork. That's pretty cool looking. I like that artwork, actually. So yeah, so that's the 4K UHD. I think it looks good. I enjoy the movie. I do have some issues, but not enough to make me not recommend it. I mean, I think it's, it's an enjoyable movie. It was 2 hours, but it flew by. So yeah, so I would rate it. Let's do it. Let's do the rating. We are going to rate it. I'm going to give it 4. 4 sweaty Kenneth Branaghs out of 5 sisters you shouldn't be marrying. So it's a 4 out of 5. So that's it for my review. I thank you for watching. If you stuck around this long, that's great. If you didn't, go screw yourself, but you're not hearing it anyway. So let's end this because this is way too long. So have a good one. Love you. Mwah.